Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Rogan. I'm a board member here for the Delaware County Transportation Management Association. It's my pleasure to introduce PennDOT's Delaware County District 6 Permit Manager, Anthony Antonelli, and he's joined by representatives of our Middletown, Delaware County office to discuss highway occupancy permits and all things that use our roads, state and local projects. So, Anthony, come on up.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. I was asked to do this last night, fill in. So I'm here, and I got the slides, and we'll see what they look like as we're going through them. So we'll put some slides together. Okay. You don't want to hear me yap for an hour, so we'll try and get through it and with an understanding. With that said, let's go on. So what are HOPs? Yeah, an HOP is anyone working in a legal right-of-way must have an HOP to be on the road or within the legal right-of-way or occupy it. So a highway occupancy permit is required whenever a proposed project needs access to the state right-of-way. HOPs are issued by PennDOT or my unit. PennDOT has the responsibility to accommodate both HOP applicants, permittees, and the traveling public. It is in the interest to regulate the design, which is constantly being updated in central office, designs, construction, and regulations. So the drainage and maintenance of access, which goes along with our access management program that is constantly being scrutinized, let's say that. The utility facilities, they take up a big part of the permit application, as well as other property and structures within the state highway right-of-way, in order to preserve safe and reasonable access, safe and convenient passage of traffic, as well as protect the structural integrity of the highway. And materials are constantly being made better and better and interlocking, and like we've seen the collapse of the bridge, the I-95 project, and the material used there was almost space-like, but did the job. It was incredible. Types of HOPs. So we have utility permits. We have driveway and miscellaneous. The utility permits issued for installing, repairing, and removing lines and systems. Comcast, Verizon, Pico, any utility that's going to be occupying the right of way, and they're a very big part of that. And I think I have some numbers of that coming up. Driveway and local road permits are issued for installing or altering or removing driveways or streets connecting to the highway and nearby property, mostly developments, local roads, and any kind of upgrades that we can look for in the development process. Miscellaneous permits issued for various activities like testing, construction, repairs, and connects to department facilities. In the miscellaneous, also, curb sidewalk test holes and ADA ramps only are also under miscellaneous permits. The ADA ramps that are in that are not development-driven ones. They're just ones that are being worked on as a single crossing. The department issued 3,600 permits district-wide last year, in which 76% of those permits were utilities. So as I was saying, they're a very big part of the permitting process. And a lot of that has to do with them being mandated from the PUC as far as, their bare stale, removing so much per season and replacing it with plastic. Good so far? All right, who can apply or who applies for permits? Well, depending on the proposed project, various entities apply and receive HOPs, including property owners. A simple minimum use driveway for a driveway that would access a state highway. There's criteria and site distance formulas for that. Developers, obviously, the developers are more complex projects, and they may also have some state funding or multimodal funds involved with it, which would give PennDOT some upgrades as well. Utility companies, well, they have the biggest presence. They're improving the infrastructure, and obviously, as I mentioned before, a lot of their work is mandated by the PUC. Municipalities, a good example of municipalities, I mean, there's several, but a streetscape project would be a good example of that, where you would have multiple, so new curbs, sidewalk, roadway, new lighting, and just an upgrade for that township or municipality. Municipal authorities, well, mostly sewer projects are municipal authorities. A lot of the public work applications are through the municipal authorities. And other interested parties, some that may not be, within the area of Delaware County would be, let's say, the Turnpike Commission, and even further out, the Amish communities as well. They are putting lines on the roadways for farms. So they would be the other interested parties. I'm not going too fast, I got to kill some time here. Municipal involvement in HOPs. This is very important because obviously this is a municipal meeting and date today for this. So municipalities are critical stakeholders in the department's permitting process. Their input is greatly valued. And I'll read that again because it is extremely important. Municipalities are critical stakeholders in the department's permitting process. Their input is greatly valued. As a matter of fact, a lot of municipalities, and going way back, were put on the municipal. They weren't always on or different projects. They were added to the municipal review list as far as simple minimum use driveways in the township or the municipality. They have a greater role, and we want that greater role. The department requires that the municipality be given the opportunity to review and comment on the applications. And I can't stress that enough either, because all of the feedback taken by the municipality is put into the review process. It is valued communication for the outcome of the project and the final permit that is at the end that's going to be issued. So the department's commitment to working with municipalities to ensure roadway infrastructure, and the department's commitment to working with municipalities. PennDOT's not going anywhere, and now they're in the municipalities. So we have a relationship, a commitment and committed relationship to the municipalities. Also, to ensure roadway infrastructure is appropriately addressed or mitigated with the added development and increasing traffic is even more important than ever. So we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear more from you guys than we do the developer, to be honest, because we really take all of the comments and input from the municipalities into the entire review process. Questions on that one? It's a big one.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
When reviewers are reviewing plans for municipalities, do you prefer that those comments are sent directly to PennDOT, or do they just get submitted to you with?
Is this before the submittal to PennDOT while you're dealing, or is it just the municipality and the developer?
Sometimes we'll get HOP plans to review, or even the development plans, so if you want to be copied of all those reviews, or you ask to include that in the submission.
I think with the amount of submissions that we have, we'd like to, I mean, we can do that. We now have coordination meetings, which are just meetings or scoping applications, where we would just, it would call between the municipality and the reviewers up at District 6 and just go over and sit some of the stuff that you're seeing and some of the stuff that the reviewers are going to be asking for or may not want to see. So to answer your question, we've gotten many emails where we were just said, hey, take a look at this before an actual submittal itself. So mostly in the submittal, but we're open to communication.
One thing we see a lot is with some of the townships, they want to see an HOP permit first before they approve a subdivision plan. And we want just the opposite. We want the township to approve the subdivision plan first, and then for the permittee to apply for their permit. Because a lot of times, things that you might change, if it goes the other way around, if we issue the permit first and the township, in their process, reviewing something saying we don't like this, it never gets reflected back. So we ask for the townships to be approved first, subdivisions, and then the permittee come in for the state.
Thank you, Kenny. So very important, municipalities are very important to us. HOP resources, so PennDOT's website. So I gotta say, Harrisburg has been doing a great job they hired a lot of young IT guys, and they're just, they're going at it, and they're really listening to what the community wants. And that's the website. I don't know if you just want to take some pictures of that. I don't have any of the thing. I can also give you the slides as well. But in this, PennDOT's HOP website, it really is an abundance of information. They got links to just about everything HOP on the website. Not to mention that we have a District 6 website that will also do that. But they've been doing a great job. Some of the stuff that's in some of the stuff in there for the HOPs is overview of the HOP and application process, the regulations, the Title 67, the 441 for driveways, and 459 for utilities. They're the regs. They're somewhat of the Bibles as well when putting the HOPs review together. There's guidelines, publications, and strike-offs, and I think we do touch on another publication coming up, which is invaluable. There's e-permitting information, which is very important, and it'll take you over to the e-permitting site. And additional resources, there's sample agreements. If you don't know how to fill them out or what to look for, they're already filled out for some examples, which are very helpful. Technical memos, fact sheets, additional links, facts, and more importantly, there's contact info. And that's a very big important fact for the communication, and not just between the hours of 8 and 4. We're talking if something should arise at night or on the weekends. There's contact information there, and I have some at the end to share with you as well. This is a very important publication. This is everything HOPs from beginning to end. Legal documents, everything to be filled out. There's examples in it. This is a 515-page publication. It is downloadable. The information is incredible. It provides a wealth of knowledge. This basically is the Bible of HOPs, to be honest. The Pub 282, it's the HOP Operations Manual. Most current revision release was in 2004, so it's been updated pretty recently. And coming this June 3rd, we have a statewide managers meeting in Pittsburgh where we'll be adding some additional pages to it. One of them being virtual inspection. One that we did during COVID worked so well that in some instances that we'll be able to use that again if we need to for specific projects where we're short on staffing. And I think everyone's short on staffing at this time, including us. So it's for use by utility, facility, driveway owners, PennDOT staff, municipalities, planning organizations, consultants, and developers. This provides regulatory, technical knowledge, strike-off letters, which are the latest and greatest, policies, processes, procedures for permitting access or occupancy of the state system of highways. And any entity having to do with the state roads and HOPs should have this publication easily accessible or at their fingertips. It's also great for a reference guide, and it's very easy to search. It has an actual search bar that if you type in a specific maintenance or you typed in restoration, it would highlight everything that goes into restoration, taking you to the restoration index. Very valuable. So this is the EPS system. So PennDOT stopped taking paper applications about 7, 8 years ago. There were a couple that were allowed as the last ones that were there. So we stopped that. And what are the benefits of this? This is a one-stop shop. This is from soup to nuts. I'm talking from the initial draft all the way down to the closeout, even through the inspection invoices, and all of the inspection documentation. Everything is placed in this through your actual permit or the permit number. So, all applications in the department are submitted electronically via EPS. EPS allows for HOP applications to be processed online. It's all at your fingertips. So the benefits is, eliminates the need for snail mail. We go by a 30-day metric, so we have 30 days from when that that application is submitted. We have 30 days to make a decision to turn it around, whether you get a permit issued, which is a rare instance on any low, medium, high, or any local volume driveways. We go up to 30 days, and it would be returned for revisions, and it would continue another cycle. And we'd go another 30 days once you return it back to the department. Most cases, driveway apps will go through several 30-day cycles. Could take some time. It also allows the applicant team to collaborate online with the department, which is fantastic. I mean, you'll see the reviewers that are reviewing it, and their contact information is there. If you want to email them on the side, you can even email them on the side and say, hey, page 7 was being eliminated or updated to show. I mean, you're going to have to show it again, but the communication is there if you need to, and that's utilized an awful lot. This also enables, so it allows applicants to review staff with papers, attachments, and email notifications. Everything is uploaded into this. So we're doing away. We have storerooms with just paper applications from the 70s, and a lot of it's been put on in a digital format. But this is digital now. There's really no need for a lot of the stuff except for right-of-way plans, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But it provides the applicant with an HOP resource, and here there are many links provided, and all the forms that you may be asked for from the reviewer are in this EPS, the bottom left-hand corner. Say you need an applicant authorization form, the M950AA, that all the way through maintenance agreements, everything is in this one website, the electronic permitting system. Anybody using this today? Is anybody on this? Yeah? Got to get it out there more. Okay, well, this is a lot to do with the municipalities of the stormwater. So Appendix B2 of Publication 282, which we just discussed a little bit ago, identifies stormwater facility categories and gives guidance with examples. It identifies responsibilities of the applicant, the municipality, and PennDOT. This is something that's done on every development job. So anything that has a closed water system or a closed storm system. So separate HOP application for stormwater management policy. So it requires HOP. So it's required prior to issue of the main HOP must be in the name of the municipality. And the separate application ensures that the local government has the necessary authority to manage and maintain the stormwater facility, often with funding provided by the landowner. Any questions on that? Because that's a lot of municipalities have a separate one. It's either a co-owner, co-applicant, or a separate application. Ain't got many more, so you won't hear me yet for another whole hour, I'll tell you that. We'll field some questions afterward. Other items to consider. This was put in there, I believe, because the townships are involved in this more so. It's got to do with SEPTA and bus shelters. So SEPTA has to do some coordination by putting some shelters in the townships and municipalities. Okay? So SEPTA's bus stop coordination, if a relocation is required, documentation of the coordination with SEPTA must be provided. If there is not a bus stop located on the opposing side of the development, consider providing one. This is what they would like you to do. The important one is to coordinate with the township to see if they would like a bus shelter to be installed. The new shelter requires a maintenance agreement with the municipality and the applicant. And a lot of that under review because placing a bus shelter, I mean, it could interfere with handicap ramps or ADA facilities that may need to be relocated and can get a little bigger than just placing a bus shelter there. Look at that. So other coordination, proposed and or required traffic signal improvements, as I was kind of touching on a bit, with District 6 signals unit as part of the HOP application. The HOP application process, once constructed, provides single as-built plans to the signals unit, which is they'll review that quickly, it's a quick turnaround. This will be a condition of the permits involving the traffic signals. And compile similar documentation together in EPS attachments. As I said, anything can be uploaded in the EPS system. And that's consolidated PDFs where applicable, as well as this will help the department with permitting process or decision-making process. With the right of review. So we've got some summary and takeaways here. So follow the outline process for a successful application. If you have any questions, please ask, email. I'll provide phone numbers. We'll be glad to even come out and look at it. The guys with the boots on the ground will be out there and give you their experiences and what they see. But if you have any questions, please ask prior to the formal submittal. And we do that a lot, believe it or not, with the utilities. They've gotten to the point where their designers will contact us, ask us to walk with them. This is in the design stage. And, what they see is a lot of Google Earth until you get out there. And when you're out there, you notice you have a vault that's in the way or it's a poured-in-place inlet, and they can't go there, and they're redesigning it. And it saves a lot of time when they submit it into PennDOT. They get their permit back relatively with a goal of something like that of almost 15 days, which is extraordinary compared to a lot of other areas in the state. Multiple project coordination, do your research and identify adjacent future projects and the need to coordinate with all parties as early as possible. That's being proactive is the best policy there. Expect the project and scope and the design may change. It often does. See it all the time. And scope usually changes, and that's what Pico picked up on, and that's why they have us walk with them out there at times. Okay. Well, I can't be at the end of already for crying out loud. We're going to talk about some other stuff. So, so we have some questions and answers. I have Kenny, who is a manager for Delaware, Chester County. He has staffing in both of the counties. I have Alex McLean, who is the supervisor of Delaware County Permits Unit. He's down in the office. These are the guys, boots on the ground. They're the ones that will meet you out there. They're the ones that that best know the areas in your municipalities and have a lot of experience in working in your municipalities. So if you have any questions, feel free, and guys, if there's anything you want to jump in on and answer, by all means.
So, Dave, PennDOT has 30 days to respond once a HOP submitted.
Correct.
When they made comments and asked for things to be changed, and we submitted,
Yeah. That's correct. It's another 30 days. It's another 30-day cycle. It'll keep going. It depends on how much information we have on that initial submittal. That's why we encourage the coordination meetings. You can set that up. I probably should have got that. That's something they should have put in here was there is an email on how to set up the coordination meetings. And you'll sit with a bunch of reviewers, discuss your project, you'll get feedback, and then you'll be able to, once you have it on paper. It definitely eliminates the cycle process. I mean, I see some that are 12 and 13 cycles, which it's obviously over a year. I think I might know the project, to be very honest.
As the engineering firm that they do hire, if that company is familiar with applying for HOPs, it greatly increases the problem because the permittee is paying every time. So every time it goes back, it's like job security on the engineer side. So it does make a difference if they find an engineering company that's familiar with applying for the HOPs itself.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to ask too about the stormwater management, we said, well, the townships are now co-permittees on anything that goes in the ground. So the township is going to own any new stormwater drainage that goes in any municipality itself. We've come across some townships that are hesitant either to be the co-permittee or say a municipality owns the sewer system, but they say they only own from the main to the curb stop, or they say the homeowner owns from the main to the curb stop itself. And they say, well, we don't want to take out a permit because we don't own that piece. And the state will turn around and say, well, you have to be the one to take it out in the PennDOT right away because you're the one who's bonded for life if something should happen maintenance-wise, because we can't bond a homeowner or developer or something like that in the road itself. So a lot of townships, what they do is they enter into third-party agreement with the homeowner or the developer to say that township will put the permit in their name, but if something should happen in the future, that permittee will be responsible for the maintenance of that system itself. So.
Correct. Thank you, Ken.
Question, when it comes to recording the right-of-way dedication, that the permittee that has, they're the ones responsible for that?
They're responsible. So so it depends if you're talking about the M950D one, which is the legal description and so forth, an 8.5 by 11 description as well as the meets and bounds. That gets reviewed by me, myself, and that gets signed. Once that's signed, you can go ahead and take it to get it recorded, and then we'll want proof of the recording, and then that gets uploaded into the attachments in the EPS system. The bigger plans, the overall bigger plans, that's time consuming. That is, I say time consuming because we're going to get these sets of plans with the Mylars, and that's going to come to the district, and our chief surveyor is going to look at that. Our right-of-way department's going to look at that. It's going to be broken up. And then once they have that, they'll have comments. Most of the time they do. It also goes to Harrisburg for their comments. Once it goes to the central office in Harrisburg for their comments, you'll come back, you'll get a three-part from survey, from Harrisburg, from right-of-way to address those comments. If everything is good, the right-of-way plans will go back to central office to be stamped and documented, digitally documented, and then the Mylars and everything are sent back to us. Could take some time though, I will tell you that. Yes.
In dealing with state highways, we have an area where I'm at, in Sharon Hill, on Chestnut Pike. So we have crossing out there, but it's a dangerous crossing because the traffic comes uphill and you can't see it until it's at that point where the crossing guard is crossing. In terms of putting a signage down below the hill,
Right.
what can we do to help out in that initiative? Or
So that signage would be a temporary signage. It wouldn't be something that would be permanently put into the ground. So whenever school's there, so when school's on or when the crossing guard's there during school hours, I mean, you're looking for something that is a temporary pop-up sign like road work ahead, but more or less. So there's an over vertical. You want to let them know at the bottom that at the top or around just over that over vertical that there is a crossing guard there, obviously crossing school children. I don't think that would be I mean, what happens in the summer? You have to put some sort of a bag over it, or some sort of a fold or something like that. And that would happen at the municipality level. And if it was going to be within the right of way, they would send it to us and say, hey, are you okay with this? So I would start at the municipality level, asking for. That's also doable, and at times PennDOT has worked with the municipalities when we have paint trucks within the area. That may be an extra, say they are in Sharon Hill at that time. We may provide either that, or we may provide the paint. A lot of times the trucks they're one large giant, it almost looks like a hook and ladder truck, where they don't turn very well. And to get something like that to stop and go back and do lines, or have a hang one done, PennDOT may provide the materials if the township public works was willing to do it, to put it out there. So we could save some money in doing by supplying the materials in most cases.
Another question. Around most college campuses, I know on major thoroughways, they have those cones that says pedestrian crossing is not a permanent fixture. That
Sure.
It can be moved. Is that something that can be used?
Absolutely. Actually, we prefer those to be used, to be very honest. The least amount of structures in the state right of way that could possibly at some point cause an impact, we're very skeptical on. But temporary traffic control stuff, by all means, and it's an easier way to go.
And painting those stripes, to say, for the crosswalk itself, other things go into that. As far as where do the crosswalks go? Does it actually go to a handicap ramp on either side, or does it go to an upright curb? So a lot of times you won't see painted crosswalks because they're not ADA compliant to begin with, and they don't want to force people to say, cross at this particular location where you don't have an ADA accessible ramp on either side of it. So, I mean, I don't know a particular intersection, but a lot of times that's why you don't see painted crosswalks.
Yeah.
Well, the logistics, where it's located, it's like the school, and it's not like a little small street, not on a major street. So they place a crossing guard there because a lot of the children come up to the little street around the tennis and basketball court. And what happens is, when they get to that point, there's no crosswalk, and the hill is there with the track. And the next light is at the next corner, as opposed to something to tell them to stop or slow down.
It's a potential policing situation as well.
It's a little bit of both, and we can give you a number before we leave here of our department that you could talk to about that particular thing, and with the signs as well, and if there's something that they were willing to do or work with the municipality. But we can give you that number before we leave.
Right.
I would like Janice to, I would like to know, I'm in Great McDade Boulevard in Darby. Do they ever put speed bumps or cushions on the state highway?
What's that? They did it, he's saying that, he says Yaden, you're saying that they did it in Darby?
No, I'm asking, do they put
I don't know, but it would have to do with the ADT, or the average daily traffic of the cars and the speed limit of the roadway before they go ahead and put a speed bump.
Don't even want them. Again, it's a maintenance issue. Who's going to maintain them itself, and also as well for plowing in the wintertime itself. So I know even a lot of municipalities won't allow that, again, because again, it's a maintenance issue. Where a lot of townships will put in these temporary, they're like plastic robot speed bumps per se, that are bolted down. But then we find a lot of times they can be removed in the wintertime, but then there's a question of where did the municipality then, where do they store all these temporary speed bumps per se, and who's going to maintain them? So there's a bunch of things that go into it that just.
we do have temporary ones in Darby. But I'm talking about on the state highway itself. And McDade Boulevard is, and it's it's really bad. It's bad. I was just thinking to someone out there about it, I mean, we did a study, we had a study done, they don't put the lights up, but it's bad, they don't have BBM school here, and it's another school, these kids have to get to across the street, and the street is really bad. It's been, I mean, people have really got killed on that street. We had a car that went up on the BBM, up the steps. You know, so it's bad, and we tried to do the study, they rejected us from the study, we just couldn't like something there.
Who did you submit it to? Was it PennDOT that you submitted that to, or municipality? So it may not have warranted it. What you can do is, I mean, I can bring it back. Give me your information, and I can take it to Dave Adams' group and have him look at, have Janice or Pam, one of the operations folks, look at it and see where we were. You know, I'm pretty sure I know the exact location you're talking about, where BVM is at. We'll do that. You give me your information, and someone will reach out to you. Okay? Sure. Anybody else? I don't know if I could see. Yeah.
Hey, Eric Ossenchuk, TBD. Not so much a question, more of a comment. But I think the collaboration meetings that have been implemented recently have been a great help with moving projects along. Just a follow-up question to that would be, is there any consideration to, and the staff and the consultants have done a great job of accommodating us with timing of larger projects and such.
Sure.
But I was wondering if there was any consideration for, say, a high-volume driveway or local road, if there could be a longer time period automatically set for those types of projects. Just something to consider. I think the collaborations are a great first step in that, almost automatic that I request those for my projects. But
take advantage of it, absolutely.
I find that I'm really running through things very quickly, trying to hit the high points, and there's those heavy hitters in terms of
Sure.
But there's usually a follow-up that's needed on something or one daily things. So something to consider.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea, to be very honest. Something that it would be automatic, and even something to revisit while it's in review. Yeah, absolutely. I will. I'll bring that back to Fran and Paul and discuss it. Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. Thank you. Anyone else? Now I have some contacts here. These are your Delaware County contacts. These are so the Delaware County Permit Office, you have from 8 to 4. Is it 8 to 4:30, Alan, or 7:30 to 4? That there's someone in the office, or we'll answer the phone there. Sharifa Powell's the clerk down there in the permit office. Alex McLean here is the county supervisor. And underneath him are Clem George, which you may know some of them, and Joe McKelvey. Those are actual, they're the inspectors that are out there with the boots on the ground. Alex has got some administrative work to do when it comes to EPS, but he is out there. He's also the person to elevate it, or elevate the problem or the issue as he sees fit, or he can handle it on his own, being the supervisor going around. You know, and so those numbers there are cell phone numbers to PennDOT. Those numbers are available at nights and on weekends. Now, if they don't answer, you will get a return call, and that's if they don't answer. But most times they do. You'll find if you do call, they'll do that. But if not, if it needs to be elevated, it'll come to the district, or maybe a maintenance force if it's something that needs immediate attention. Something with. On the right side, we have the District 6 Traffic Signals Unit, and Margot, Wolfgang, and Kevin Lewis. Those are contact numbers and emails. You might take some shots of this if you would like, a picture. Very, very valuable information. And you have Janet Vogel, who's in charge of, she works under Dave Adams, but she's the supervisor of the traffic operations that would include detours. She looks at, there's loads of them. She does them quickly. She has a staff under her, and she does a great job at getting them out and accommodating. And then we have Nidhi Mehra. She is the she's the ADA coordinator. She's the bike ped coordinator, and she's a plethora of information when it comes to that. She deals with all 5 counties, and dealing with bicycles in the city of Philadelphia is a challenge in itself, and she does a very good job at it. So if there's any of that in the townships, by all means, these are the numbers and the contacts that you really want to have. I notice my name is not on there, my number's not on there, but that's not. I'm also available, and I'll go back to that slide, and you can have my number as well. It's a PennDOT cell, and it's on all hours of the night, and believe me, I have to have it on. I mean, with the stuff that we have in I-95, what happened on that, with the collapse of the 95, with some, who was it? We had a tanker hit the overpass of I think it was a railroad bridge over 95. So these are very important. When you get the call or at that time of night, it's never good. So, but
For your crosswalk question, Janet Wilson,
yeah, she's the one that'd be reviewing that.
that number up there, Janet Wilson, maybe that.
She's the one that would be reviewing that. All right. Pretty sure that concludes the slides and I mean, if you want to, there's more time in there if you'd like to jump in there, but if there's no other questions, we're going to be out and around. We'll be outside. If there's something you could think of, by all means, we're here. Come and ask us. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.